As you will have already seen, I have given this video the title of Urgent. I could also have used the title Emergency, but I decided not to in order to try and prevent panic amongst people. Those of you following the statistics of the number of confirmed cases of coronavirus would have noticed that there was a sudden jump yesterday in the figures. I suspect that we are going to see massive jumps from now on. Let me explain why I say this. Those who are keeping up with the news, both in the mainstream as well as on social media, will have seen many posts and broadcasts showing masses of people who either through pure defiance or by total ignorance are not obeying the advice being given to them, as well as the orders given to them. We see the taxi industry transporting passengers in their taxis, and although they have been restricted to the amount of passengers they can carry, knowing what I know about the taxi industry, they are not going to worry about these restrictions at all. Even if they did, the average taxi is not big enough to separate people far enough apart from each other, even if there were only two people in the taxi. You have seen people in the squatter camps going about their business as usual, congregating in huge crowds all over the place. And of course, there are those who firmly believe that this is a white man's sickness and that black people are immune to it. This attitude has gone so far that there are black organizations that have taken the government to court with this as their argument. The levels of total ignorance and pure stupidity are unbelievable. So what will the consequences of all this be? It is common knowledge now that the government is not testing all people that present with symptoms. They simply do not have the resources. The government is also not posting regular statistics, so we really don't know what the true figures are at any given moment. Even if they were posting statistics regularly, they would only be a reflection of the test results of those tested. Here is my very amateur diagnosis of what we are going to be facing for the rest of the 21-day lockdown period and thereafter. Because the government is not testing everyone and also not reporting confirmed cases regularly, or in my opinion accurately, I can only assume that the infection rate during the past week and for the next 2 weeks has been going on uninhibited and is on the increase, of course. I'm no expert on the coronavirus, but as I understand it, the incubation period can be as long as 21 days. That means that if the infection had started at the day we entered the lockdown period, there could still be people developing symptoms the day we come out of this lockdown period, and those will only be the people infected on the first day. As we know, if left unchecked, the infection rate increases exponentially. So let's say one person was infected on the first day. On the second day, that one person infected two people. On the third day, those two, as well as the first person, each infect two more people. I think you can see where I'm going with this. Now, I've not done any calculations, but I think you will agree with me that by day 21, we will have an absolute ton of people who are infected, and by far the biggest proportion of them would have been infected very close to the end of the lockdown period. Guess what this means? We will come out of this 21-day lockdown period and expect to enter a lifestyle similar to what it was before the lockdown period. What in fact is going to happen is that we will go out there into the population where literally thousands and possibly hundreds of thousands of people will be walking the streets infected with the virus recently but not showing any symptoms. As far as I am concerned, this is going to be by far the most dangerous period for those of us who have actually self-isolated for 21 days. I, for one, am not going out there expecting that I am safe. You would think that self-isolating for a further 21 days would safeguard you from being infected. It won't. Let me explain. As I said, by the time this lockdown period is over, there are going to be many thousands of infected people who are just going to carry on infecting more people. This means that if nothing is done to curb the infection, things are only going to get much worse. So what is the solution? Quite frankly, with the average attitude of the majority of the population at the moment, there is no solution. This is where I get to the urgent or emergency part of this audio. Because the average Joe in the average squatter camp has very little resources, very little money, and would not have stored any food even if they were able to, they have already started to run out of both money and food. I have seen videos of food chain delivery trucks being stopped and looted on their way to resupply stores. I've seen videos of shops being looted. Specifically, one that comes to mind is a a convenience shop at a filling station. The people simply stormed in and emptied the shop. As the general health of the people living in these squatter camps gets worse, as their food and money supply runs out, these people are going to get more and more desperate. When there are no more supply trucks to loot, when there are no more shops and supermarkets to loot, where do you think they are going to go to find food? They all know that us whites have catered for this period and have stored food in our homes. They are going to start heading into the suburbs in ever-increasing numbers to find food. Naturally, anyone who gives up their supply of food without a fight is a fool. So I expect there to be conflict and eventually a lot of violence going forward. It will start slowly, but will also increase on an exponential basis. You might be thinking that the police and the military will be able to control the masses. Think again. According to Google, the population of Soweto alone is very close to 1.3 million people. I have no idea how big the military and police forces deployed are, but I am willing to bet that the inhabitants of any of the squatter camps will outnumber them at least 100 or 200 to 1. There is no way that they can control these masses should they decide to go on the rampage. Here's how I see things progressing going forward. In roughly 2 to 3 weeks, possibly a little sooner, we are going to see an explosion in the number of corona infections. And because of the extremely high numbers of people who are either HIV positive or have tuberculosis with severely compromised immune systems, there are going to be unprecedented numbers of people infected and deaths due to complications caused by the coronavirus. This is going to create panic within the squatter camps, which will result in them fleeing the squatter camps in their thousands. There will be those who are still healthy fleeing from those that are infected, and there will be those that are infected but don't know it yet fleeing from those that are blatantly infected. Millions of these people are going to stream out of the squatter camps and informal settlements with nowhere to go but into the cities and the suburbs. There can be only one consequence, and that is going to be massive conflict. They all know that you and I have food in our houses, so we'll come for it. That much is a certainty. Take note, people. I'm talking about a time frame of a month from now, give or take a week or so. I simply can't see things going any other way. The writing is on the wall. The work has already been done. The time to reap the rewards is nearing, and there is absolutely nothing we can do about it. So what do we do as the minority who are sticking to the lockdown and will largely be healthy at the end of this 21-day period to protect ourselves from becoming a victim to the marauding mobs that are sure to come? Firstly, I would like to recommend that you form block or street or suburb groups on media such as WhatsApp and use that to keep in touch with each other 24 hours a day. Another necessity in the communications department is for everyone to have dual band VHF UHF radio in their possession. Even if it is a cheapie bought at Macro, anything is better than nothing. Radio communication will be the only means of communication should the cell phone networks be shut down for any reason. Practice using your radios regularly because proper radio etiquette is vital if confusion and frustration is to be avoided. Have regular check-in times, say 3 times a day, where all members of the group check in to report their status at home. Make a point of reporting the general health of your household to the group just in case there is someone who starts showing symptoms. Report on food supply and general well-being in the household. Make sure that everyone declares how many people live in each household, how many children and how many elderly, etc. Know who takes chronic medication and how long will the stock they have currently last them. It is not impossible to get to see a doctor now and get a script for a supply to last you the next 3 months or so. Know where everyone else in the group lives. Sometimes you won't have everyone in your neighborhood, street or suburb on the group. Make sure that you know the shortest route to all members' houses. In an emergency, you don't want to be taking the wrong route or the long way to someone's house when they have an emergency. If you own a firearm, now is the time to get it out of the safe. Now that you are at home 24 hours a day, there is absolutely no reason for it to be locked in the safe. Just make sure that you keep it out of the reach of bored children. You should already have a decent supply of ammunition for any and all of your firearms. Make sure that all firearms and ammunition is readily available at short notice. be prepared to use them. If the situation deteriorates to such an extent and becomes too dangerous to stay at your house, you will have no choice but to take what you can fit into your car in the way of food, clothing, and small personal belongings and head for one of the other members' houses. This might be considered a disaster for you, leaving your home and belongings at the mercy of the masses, but consider it this way. Once you join up with one of the members of the group at their house, the defensibility of that house goes up dramatically. Your personal safety level and theirs will also go up proportionally. This process applies to everyone on the group, and once the group is condensed to one member's house and it then gets too dangerous to stay, the decision needs to be made to evacuate to a pre-arranged safer area. Now in my case, there is a pre-arranged area, but it is a secret to most of the group. There are very good reasons for this, but I won't go into that in this recording. Only those who need to know at this stage know where it is. When the time is right, the coordinates or the routes will be shared via any available communications network at the time. If you have any camping equipment and your vehicle is big enough to fit it in along with all your food, clothing, etc., take it with you because you might just end up staying in someone's garden somewhere in the middle of nowhere. People, this is an extremely volatile situation that I am sure you will agree could erupt at any time now. I'm afraid that anyone who will still deny that this could happen at this stage has to have their head firmly planted you know where. In my book, it would be way more prudent to be prepared for this than to live in hope that it might not. The consequences of denial here could cost you your life, literally. Please like and share this video on as many social media platforms as possible. It is the only way that my content reaches others. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, do it now by clicking the red subscribe button below and to the right of the video. While you are there, click on the bell icon to receive email notifications every time I upload new content. If you would like to contribute to my channel, in the description field I have provided ways for both local as well as international viewers to make a contribution. If you'd like to make a crypto contribution, in the description I have also provided a Bitcoin as well as a Litecoin wallet address. If you would like to contribute any other crypto, simply shoot me an email to the address also provided in the description field and I will send you the relevant wallet address. If you would like to know more about the method I am using to shield my assets against the Rand, which is taking a nosedive right now, and taking your wealth with it, shoot me a mail and I will share something with you that has served me well for quite a while now. Be safe out there. Remember to wear your mask and gloves whenever venturing out anywhere. Remember to sanitize or thoroughly wash your hands regularly and refrain from touching your mouth, nose and eyes with hands before washing them. Until next time.